Thank you for joining Effortless Attraction. My name is Evelyn McAleer. I'm the author of A Life You Want, Effortless, and The Woman's Journey. I'm a life coach, business mentor, and inspirational speaker. And my greatest value is making a difference in people's lives. So I hope through these podcasts I can make a difference to your life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another Effortless Attraction podcast. Well, today I'm delighted to welcome back Catherine Farren to the podcast show. Catherine is a writer, poet, and published author whose work touches the hearts of many through its honesty, compassion, and deep understanding of human experience. Her first collection of poetry, Retreat and Breathe, has resonated with readers who have found comfort, hope, and healing within the pages. Catherine is currently preparing to launch her second collection, Retreat, Breathe and Rise Again, published by Oakleaf Press Publishing, and is due to be released in July of 2026. Not one to stand still creatively, she is already working on her third poetry collection as well as a screenplay. So, what makes Catherine's writing so powerful is that it comes from a place of genuine life experience. Her work explores themes such as grief, healing, resilience, self worth, and hope, reminding us that even through life's most difficult moments, there's always the possibility of growth and renewal. At the heart of her writing is a desire to help people feel seen, understood, and less alone. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation today, and as we explore Catherine's journey and her passion for writing, the stories behind her poetry, and the lessons that she's learnt along the way. Catherine, you are most welcome.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for inviting me along today.
We last spoke a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Hard to believe.
I know. And listen, I never know at what time or what year that people are going to be listening to these podcasts. So we're at 2026 now. We had our podcast in April of 25 when you had your first book published.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely.
So you're doing well now.
Uh,
It's like, nearly a conception, from conception to birth, almost, like a
uh,
baby.
you
When
do
you
feel
get,
that way, don't you? Well,
yeah.
you know because you wrote three books yourself, so you do know how you feel. It is like a birth of, because you put so much into writing a book, you put your heart and soul into it, and when it does come to fruition, there is that joy. Um, and also the feeling of how's it going to pan out as
Yeah.
well, so but
Well,
no.
did you find the journey for your second book now
mm,
easier because you knew how to do it?
I didn't expect to write a second book of poetry, to be honest with you. I think the last time you and I had been chatting was on the Purple Roses. You had got me on to speak, I think it was last May, and I had chatted, that's me done with the poetry, and I was just going to get on with my novel, and that was the intention. But there was so many positive messages about the poems, and people contacting me and saying how much it resonated with them, and it just was lovely to hear. And then they just started coming again, just more poems started coming again. And I think these books have gone hand in hand with my healing and with my journey. You know, they're part of me as well as what I see around me, So obviously I was moving into a different era of healing, and the poems were moving on. And even, my friends were saying to me, oh, these are different now, these are a bit different now, and there's a different air to them.
Mm,
So, and again, they just come, it's I think when you're open to it, and I think you allow, and especially for me, I know personally, when you go into stillness, and meditation is a big thing for me. And even just, I mean, like even just a walk on the beach can be a meditation, but just to go into stillness, things just, the creativity flows.
yeah.
So,
Strange enough, we spoke about that, what you just described this morning on the Purple Rose group, where we have one of our ladies who likes to keep busy, and busy at
yeah,
the gym and busy at
yeah,
work and is contemplating, I suppose, career-wise where life is going. But I said those words that try and practice being still
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
connecting with whatever we choose to call that,
Yeah, yeah,
or in stillness without any expectation,
yeah,
and just allow whatever's to come in to come in.
yeah,
And obviously, this is where you got
yeah,
the next bits with the
yeah.
poetry. And you would you believe or say, Catherine, you feel like the vessel,
Well,
that it all.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were chatting about, 'cause faith is a big part of my life. And I said, we were chatting, I said, it's a two-way conversation. You can't just be keeping praying all the time and praying and asking and, wanting and whatever. And if you don't listen to what's being told to you, it's a two-way conversation. How would you like to be talked at all the time? You know what I mean? You need to listen to what the answers will come, but you have to take the time to sit in stillness and allow the answers to come and whatever it is and be open. But I mean, for me, that creativity, that's in stillness. It does come through, you
Someone
know.
shared a quote yesterday from, again, that came up about prayer and meditation.
Hmm.
Prayer was asking, meditation is listening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so true. And it is, but a lot of the time people say, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time. We do have time because how often do you sit and scroll, on Instagram and Facebook and different things? Now, even to start off with 2 minutes a day, guaranteed you will want five. Guaranteed after 5 minutes you will want 10, because the feeling that you get with meditation, someone said to me recently, I tried meditation, it didn't work for me. And I says, well, to me, that's like saying I went to the gym once and I didn't get fit. You have to keep doing it every day. It's something that will be with me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Because once you get that feeling, um, and also what comes through, it's a
Yeah.
totally different world.
And so the process, these poems came to you then
Hmm.
round for the second time round. But
Hmm.
did you find the process of it all easier, Catherine, because you knew how it was, you knew who to go to get it published, or
No,
there was
I
an.
think it was. I kept on writing them, and I had the intention of maybe going back to the first publisher again, but in the beginning, because I thought I'll just keep writing and see where these go, because I never knew when it was going to stop. I thought, maybe I'll just write a few and then that'll be it. I didn't honestly think that I would have 100 more poems to publish. But they just, they kept flowing. And I put it out that I really, put out the intention that I really wanted an Irish publisher. I wanted to have a publisher that I could meet face to face. I wanted a different experience this time. And then the next thing up came on Instagram was Oakleaf Press. Jane Buckley, she's an Irish novelist, best-selling novelist, and she has set up her own publishing company. And this came up just obviously synchronicity. You put it out there and it comes through. And I said to her, do you publish poetry books? And she said right away, yes, and let's meet. And that was that. And just lovely to meet someone with the enthusiasm and just gets you and just really just gets you and knows what you want for the book. She's amazing. Amazing.
I saw you were at throughout the year an event that Colette Leeson had also done.
Colette invited me down to Belfast. It was just totally out of the blue. It was lovely, International Women's Day. And she
Yes.
said, do you want to come down to Belfast? And I says, surely. So I took Mommy down with me. Me and Mommy went down, and funny
Emma
story.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Well, funny story here. We were sitting in the waiting room ready to be taken up to the room, and we were chatting. Obviously, these events, you always meet like-minded women, and it's lovely to different working, chatting to different people. And this lady, she said to me, "Oh, I'm following this woman on Instagram, Evelyn, Evelyn, Evelyn." I saw Evelyn McAleer, and she says, "Hi, she does a podcast and all." And I says, "I know, I've been on it." So I didn't get chatting to her afterwards, but I thought, there you are, you're out there. And then get chatting to Maggie Mac and Colette and everything as well too, and of course their experiences with yourself. So it's lovely the synchronicity of everything, and you don't plan these things, and then It's
That's right.
lovely. It's just
So
lovely.
Emma Hetherington was at that event, and
Emma was
she,
speaking. Yeah, yeah,
right.
absolutely. Aye, she was speaking at, and I had never met Emma before, and I went up to her afterwards. Her story is just phenomenal. She is an amazing woman, so she is, and so inspirational. So I went up to speak to her afterwards, and just got a photograph with my first book with her, and I gave her the book, and then I come home and I thought, God, I'd love her to write my foreword. Should I ask her? Should I ask? I thought, I'm just going to put it out there. So just sent her a wee message, and right away she was like, no problem at all. She says, I will do it for you. So beautiful words she has wrote too. Very grateful to her.
Well, there you go. Isn't it amazing just how everything lines up
Aye,
for this book to go
absolutely.
out? So it's not going to be that long. It's a very
No,
short period of time, and you're going
uh,
to be doing your book launch in Limavady at the Roe Valley Arts and Culture Centre.
that's right. That's right. I know. I know
Did you
you'd
have a
said to
book
me,
launch for your first
no,
one?
but I remember you saying to me, I can't remember if you said to me when I was out in Spain with you, you'd said to me, did you ever think about doing a book launch? I remember you saying that
Mhm,
to me, and
mhm.
I hadn't at the time. And I honestly, looking back last year to who the version of myself that I was, I couldn't have seen myself do a book
I
launch. I
think you've
didn't feel,
changed. You've changed to
I,
that, Catherine.
so, um, but that's only been really sort of recent, like even up until this year, I would say New Year's Eve was kind of the last time that I kind of felt that I dimmed my light as such. So the book launch just seemed, when I met with Jane, she said to me, would you like to do a book launch? I said, yes, absolutely, 100%. There was no query about it at all. So I am looking forward to it. I really am. The experience of it all,
Yeah.
you know.
But it's like your child. This is your second child, putting it out into the world.
Aye.
Give it a decent start off in life. Mine was all during lockdown or COVID time, so it was all online. So the first book then, it's just a year old, really. It's still in its
hmm
infant state, but you've had lots of wonderful feedback, Catherine.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. My first year's earnings from the book, I decided to give to a local charity called Rosilio, and they are amazing. It's run by an amazing woman, Mary Dunn, and they inspire hope in people, um, going through challenging times, do absolute amazing work. So, um, I had been gathering up, what I was earning for that. And then there was a lady, Helen McKenna, she runs a shop in Limavady called Finishing Touches too. And she said, I'll sell it in the shop for you. And like how kind, like, and I was able to get more money from that, from her. And then we local senior citizens group. They bought some books from me and gathering up all the money and everything to give to Mary then for the charity. It was lovely to be able to hand that over, from my first year's earnings. So it just meant something. But
Yeah,
also just to hear the feedback has been really good.
yeah. Well, as I said, I've noticed a change in you. Your first book had come out and nobody really knew about it. It was
Yeah.
kind of, oh, here. And I was like, did that woman just write a book? There was no mention of it beforehand, and it was just like, oh, here you go, a bit of a screenshot of a glimpse. Now, at least you're speaking now. That's why I've noticed the difference because you were
Uh,
sharing throughout the year, sharing
mm,
um, glimpses of your book and bits of your poetry
yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
year, Catherine, and your own
I
reflection on
know.
it. And daily, you're always sharing stuff as well. And this time round as well, now I get to hear that the book's coming out before the book
Yeah,
comes
I
out. And
know.
you've got also a big newspaper spread.
Because lovely girl Orla, she had done an article on me last year, with the book, the first book, Retreat and Breathe, and I contacted her and she says, "Oh, no problem at all. So Um, and local women's going to do a wee spread for me as well for the book launch. Contacted a girl and they said no, no problem at all. They'll do a wee article on that too. So I'm taking action. That's the difference within myself as well. I feel the confidence now to take that
That's what I was
action.
going to ask you. So, what was the change for you then?
Definitely just growth and evolvement and also like as I said to you, even up until New Year's Eve, I was in the butcher's. We were with my husband Michael, and we were in, and the fella behind the counter was saying, obviously, I don't know how you came around about me writing the book or whatever. And I started to explain myself, and I started to say, ah, but I'm a nurse too and whatever. And it was almost, you know, as if I had to explain why I was writing a book and things like that. So we come out of the shop and Michael said to me, he said, don't do that. Don't dim your light. Just, call yourself a writer. You are a writer. And I thought, right, I have to step into this new year seeing myself as Catherine, the writer, because if I don't, I'm not going to move forward. I'm not going to publish this next book, if I don't make a change. And so from then on in, I just, I am a writer,
Hmm.
you know.
I know that was part of your bio about your career in nursing, but I didn't read it out
Mm, mm.
because I focused on the books. But yeah, you have been nursing for many, many years.
Aye,
But
aye.
sure, that all adds to the
Oh
experiences as
God,
well, Catherine.
oh, so much. And you know what? So grateful to have been able to, care for the people that I have been able to care for. And that experience, has been absolutely the making of me.
Hmm.
So humbling. Um,
From a self-development point of view, if someone's listening to the podcast here,
mm,
and if you can remember back till starting your first book, okay?
mm,
And as I say, you were shy about social media, about coming out,
mm.
about
Yep,
telling people,
yep.
and I'm quite sure that there's a whole lot of maybe self-sabotage nights because I remember way before that, even you
Yeah.
spoke about a book whenever myself and yourself were speaking. But what would as far as self-development, as we call it, personal development, and someone about their confidence and about stepping out, what
Hmm.
would be your recommendations on that, Catherine?
Well, funny you're saying that. There's been so many women have been talking to me about, they're writing a book at the minute, or they want to write a book, or they wish they could write a book, and I keep saying to them, just do it because first of all, don't focus on the publishing of it. Just take it in stages. Just write down what you want to write down, whether that be poetry or whether that be stories or whatever it is. Just write it down, just in a journal or anything. Don't focus on the end product because it can be quite overwhelming when you do that. When I was writing these poems, I was writing them on my phone and I was writing them on pieces of paper. I didn't know if I'd have enough for an actual book. I just went with the flow. So I think just going with it and writing it down. And then also it's the whole imposter syndrome that really holds you back. And that is the ego. That is the ego is the imposter syndrome. And, you know, if you are worrying about that, which I was at the beginning before I published the first book, the way to get over that is to think, how is this going to help other people? Don't focus on yourself because the ego focuses on the self. When you lead an ego-led life, you're focusing on yourself and what will people think of me and what will they say? That's all ego. But when you are leading from the soul, when you really want to help others, like there's so much more that connects us and divides us, and really when you start focusing on that side of things, that's how you overcome the imposter syndrome. How can these poems help other people? How can my story help someone else? It's thinking about that. That's the line of,
Yeah,
getting, that's how you get over imposter syndrome is not thinking about yourself. Think about how you can help others.
yeah. And it can be it can be difficult that their part. I get that, and that ego part of it. It tries to keep us protect yourself, stay safe, you don't
Mm,
want to get hurt of that. Um, I remember when it was where everyone was locked down and I really wasn't fully online doing my work as such.
yeah.
And I remember looking around and seeing boxes of my books, first two
Mm,
books,
hmm.
and sitting there and honestly hearing, look, there's them books. And then I reply back to myself saying, oh my God, if I start putting these up, then people think I'm begging, looking money. And then
Hmm.
another reply would come back, would there be any chance that you might think that them books might benefit someone?
Exactly.
Whereas I was making it, what will people think of me selling my book or telling
Yeah.
them about? And then the other part
Yeah.
was like, any chance you think that
Hmm.
somebody
Hmm.
might get a benefit from them? So yeah,
Hmm.
you go through all these stages and
Yeah.
having to learn from it. Would you say too, Kath, and the people that you surround yourself with or connect yourself with, it
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
helps?
Absolutely, 100%. I have so much support from family and friends and the circles of women that I am involved with. And really, they were in your times where you doubt yourself. Like even this morning there, I got a message in this morning there to say, I've just read the article in the paper and it was from my sister-in-law and she was like, this is brilliant, this is just the start for you and whatever, keep going. And I thought, any time that I've been doubting myself, I'll get a wee the wee message will come in, this is great, or that poem really helped me today, or and the thing about it is too, when you are, there will be people that won't join in your journey. There will be people that will be like, and that's there. That's down to them. That's not about you, really, at the end of the day. What anybody ever says or does is a reflection of where they are in their life. You cannot take things personally. If you want to evolve in your journey, you can't take criticism personally. It's where they are in their life. But the people who truly love you will always have seen you in that light. This is what I found. And, when I say to my friends or my family, whatever, this is what I want to do, like I had said, I was messaging my friends, I was saying, I'm going to write a screenplay. And they were like, oh my God, that's amazing, and oh, can't wait for it and whatever. And, and they were just all so supportive. And I think, surrounding yourself with that type of enthusiasm, and even through Instagram and everything like that, the people that I have met through Instagram that I haven't met face to face, so supportive, the women, that's it's amazing. Yes,
So
100%.
this screenplay is to come.
Mm. It
Any
started
clues,
off,
any hints on what that's
well,
about?
I'll tell you, it started off, my friend Yvonne, she had sent me last year this link to Channel 4 was putting out, anybody that wants to write a screenplay with Channel 4, put in, an entry. You had to write so many pages that was equivalent to 8 minutes of TV time. And I'd never, ever even wrote about a screenplay. So I was Googling away, how do you write a screenplay? So the story that I had been writing for my novel, I just sort of transferred across a bit, and I sent it in, but I didn't get, anyway, Channel 4 didn't take it up, but I still had that sitting there. And so I was always thinking about the novel, but I think I was thinking about the novel because it seemed easier. And my intention for my novel was always to be, I wanted to see it on TV anyway, so that was always my dream, is to see something I've written and be it on television. So I thought, you know what, I'll park up the novel and I'm going to continue on with this screenplay, so, and I wanted to be like a comedy, like romantic comedy. I want it to be fun. Again, similar things that I have gone through myself, bringing in, about losing yourself, a woman of perimenopausal age and her life seems to just fall apart and then just, finding herself again. It's going to be based between Derry and Donegal. So it's kind of like she finds out a family secret and then, through investigating, her mother's away on a pilgrimage, so whenever she is away on a pilgrimage she goes investigating this family secret, and when she when she finds out the family secret she ends up finding herself too, so it's exciting. I'm excited about
Sounds
it, I really am.
wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Sounds
Uh-huh.
wonderful.
So
Great.
aye.
Well, do you have any poetry to hand out of your new book that we could get to hear? Or is it gonna
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, absolutely. This one's called I Am the Woman. I am the woman who walks on the beach, hair blowing in the wind, sand beneath her feet. Sea dipping in water, even though it is cold, questioning everything she has ever been told, given up all that has drained her at length, releasing from this, she has now found her strength. Yes, I am the woman who walks on the beach. A new chapter is opening, and it's now within reach.
and I'm quite sure there's many will resonate with that.
Aye.
I say about the beach. One time I used to, once upon a time, I mind walk on the beach by myself and every trouble or any concern, or maybe once upon a time asking God to send a wave in
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
Marsh take me out. And you
Absolutely.
know what? I get to walk the beach here now, albeit by the Mediterranean, and I thank God that you didn't send that wave in.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, lovely, Catherine.
Thank you.
So, how's husband Michael with all of this?
He's driving me on. He wants to retire from his work. No, he's so supportive. He really is. And so are the girls too. They're really, I have to say, nothing phases him anymore. They're all going to be involved in this book launch and all my family, all my friends. Like I'm very, very blessed, I have to say, but I know he was saying to me this morning, he says, good luck with your poise way of working, good luck with your podcast, Evelyn. Ask
Yeah.
Evelyn and Jim how they're doing. Pass on regards. So
I know you were out, actually, yourself and Michael came out here to Spain last
yes,
year.
I know Evelyn. You know what? I was looking out this morning and the weather we're having here in Ireland this morning was the same as the podcast last year in
Last
Spain.
year. I know, I know, I
But you're
know.
getting the sunshine now
Oh, we
and we're not.
do. We do have the
Uh-huh.
sun now.
Uh-huh.
So tell me, the launch is taking place on the 9th of July. Is that invite only or is it open to the
No, no,
public?
it's open to anybody. It's just walking. Absolutely. I'm gonna do a wee Jane's coming down with me, my publisher's coming down and she is it all planned out. I'm gonna do a wee prosecco reception and then we're gonna do like a wee interview, read a few poems, and then just sign some books for people because she's set up a pre-order from her website, so Oakleaf Press. And if anybody's ordered, they can bring it on, get it on the night and get it signed.
Excellent.
So
And you've started the third book. So there's a screenplay and
yes,
there's a starting of a
yes,
third book.
yes. I feel drawn to write a book about grief on its own. And so the poems that I have written, and I've written a few other ones since actually that are not going to be in the two books, but I'm just gathering them all up together. So it's just going to be about grief, really. So
Mm-hmm.
um retreat and grieve, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's where I'm being drawn to at the moment anyway. So that's just happening itself. It's almost writing itself, just where the poems are coming. I'm just, and I will publish with Jane again. I've said to her I will publish that third book
Mm-hmm.
with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, Catherine, you're a woman on a mission. It's all happening, but it's the ethos of this podcast is it's about making a difference in our own life and the lives of
Mm,
others. And that's why I love getting
yeah,
talking to people like yourself because I love how you said I'd never any intention of writing a second poetry book, but I allowed this just to come in.
yeah,
It's amazing what we have thoughts out for ourselves, and then
yeah,
something can come along and just change direction and just no, let's stay
yeah,
here for a while.
yeah, absolutely. The thing about it is, what you always have to remember, what we always have to remember is nothing new can come in while the old story plays.
Mm,
You may want change in your life, you may desire change, you may have dreams, but unless you're willing to let go and release things that don't serve you anymore, there's no space for the new to come in.
yeah.
So that was a big thing for me, as well. So creating the space for this and allowing, as you said.
And so for someone listening, now I understand you, and I'm sure there'll be many another one,
Hmm.
when we have to release and let go of the old story,
Hmm.
this is where people sit back. What does she actually mean by that?
Yeah. Well, like me up until New Year's Eve, I had to let go of the story of me explaining myself, well, I'm a nurse, but I do a bit of writing on the side, and yes, whatever, that's narrative that I had. You have to let go of that old narrative that's holding you back, let go of the ego that is worried about what people will think of you. You know, um, that's what you have to let go of
Mm.
and
Hmm.
operate again, as I said, out of that for the greater good of everyone.
Yeah.
What can you do to help
And
others?
and also another thing is when doing this is that I know when you said your sister-in-law messaged you and you got that wee bit of encouragement or you hear other stories too. There comes a stage in our life, actually, I don't think that we require anything. You just do something for the sake of doing it and
Hmm.
hoping that it makes a difference in people's life. And if recognition comes in or doesn't come in, it doesn't
Hmm.
change things. I feel
Hmm.
anyway. It's just
Hmm.
thank you. Either way, it's thank you
Yeah.
for
Well,
stuff.
yeah, 100%. I think handing it over and not trying to control the outcome and just doing it as you say, just creating for the sake and the joy of creating and not worrying. That's what I'm saying. If anybody wants to write a book or whatever, not worry about the outcome of it. Just
Yeah.
go with the flow and just write and just
Yeah.
create for the joy of it.
Start, make a start.
Aye. Uh-huh.
And there's always somebody, you'll find somebody, if you wish, your path will always cross with somebody that'll help you find your end result of they're looking at publisher or something or blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's
It's
what I say.
handy
Like how
enough done.
I came across, Jane was just it just come up, because I'd said again that I'd wanted someone close, you know what I mean, that I could meet up with face to face and have a different experience, and they're just come up on my Instagram. So put it out there.
Mm. And there you go.
Put in your request.
That's it. And it works the other way as well because I have seen, here's the thing too, I've seen people that have come over here to Spain, mad looking house, or looking,
Uh-huh.
and they might find the right one and all that, but they'll start bringing up fears.
Yeah.
What about the right solicitor? What about that? And I says, you're going to find enough, you'll gather enough fears that you'll not buy the house.
Yeah,
And
I know.
so now when anyone comes here to say, God, we'd love to buy a house, I says, don't even say it because nobody, the amount of people that have said it and they'll gather up the fears and then they
Yeah.
don't do it. So it works either way. You put your intention into what you really want and
Uh-huh.
you'll always find the people there that'll help you to get and step through the fear because it is scary when you're doing these changes. Now, it may be less
Yeah,
scary for you second time round, Catherine, and third time and whatever, but there certainly has to be, there is fear and it's stepping through that, but that's evolution and that's growth and we have to do that really.
that's it. And with every step forward, you do find you are more, you're less, the fear is less, but even with the likes of me, with the screenplay and everything like that, it's completely and utterly, I've never done anything like it before, but now I'm at a point now where I'm just going to do it and just do it for the joy of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to hand it over, like whatever the outcome, but I'm enjoying doing it. And that's the main thing, bringing the joy.
Great. For anyone that wants to get a copy of your first book,
Yeah, it's
where
on
do they?
Amazon. Aye.
It's
The
on
first,
Amazon.
yeah, uh-huh.
Retreat and Breathe.
Yeah,
And so for the second book that's coming up, then
it's an Oakleaf Press.
it's on their own website.
Yes, Oakleaf Press website. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is in the description with the podcast, I'll put the links wherever anybody can go to Catherine to get a wee copy if they can pre-order that,
That's great.
or
Thank
when
you.
it's out that they can
Yeah,
order it through that there.
that's great. Thank you, Evelyn.
So I want to say thank you very much, Catherine, for your time today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening in. And Catherine, I am going to let you conclude us with one of your poems.
That's great. Thank you, Evelyn. This one's called A Return to Myself. I forgot who I was till I sat by the sea. She was strong yet gentle, her waves wild and free. She called to me softly, remember who you are. The journey has been rough, but you have come so far. Keep going, my darling. You are almost there. The world is now waiting for what you have to share.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Evelyn.
This episode of Effortless Attraction Podcast is proudly sponsored by Maria Young Academy of Holistic Health. Founded by Maria Young, MAYA is an accredited training academy dedicated to helping people develop skills, confidence, and qualifications in holistic health and well-being. Maria and her team of experienced tutors support students who are looking to start a new career, expand their existing practice, or follow their passion for helping others. The Academy is based in County Derry. To learn more, visit mariayoungwellbeing.co.uk.